Hi everyone, my name is Shanyuan Tang. You might be wondering, what are we seeing here? These are the participants in our user study going through a few different tasks. Some are trying to pick up the right object, like a pen. Some are trying to pick up a soldering iron. Some are trying to find something inside these boxes. Some try to close the lid of the bottle. These seem like ordinary things that you would do every day. But look again, they are all blindfolded. And in fact, half of these people are blind or low vision, and they do not use their vision on an everyday basis. These ordinary tasks can become very difficult. And this is what my co-leading author Jean is facing in his everyday life. Seeing is not just important to identify things, but it's crucial for grasping objects. Say that you want to pick up the lid on this table. You might reach out your hand like this. But if you were to grasp this bottle, you'll instead reach out your hand like this to prepare a suitable grasp so that your fingers will go around and conform to the bottle. And this preparation of grasp is called preshape. Well, if you cannot see, how might you be able to pick up these spatial cues and shape of the object with respect to your hand? And this is the topic of today's talk. Without vision, grasping will become very difficult, and the only way is to bump into objects. Let's see what researchers have done to enable seeing. Sensory substitution was proposed long ago in 1969 by Paul Bacchirita as a way to enable seeing for people without vision. The idea is to use one sense to substitute another sense. Use tactile to perceive vision. The first prototype of this idea is called a tactile television, in which a camera captures an image, and the system will translate that image into patterns displayed by tiny pins moving up and down, poking on the user's back, and that the user can feel the tactile pattern as if they are seeing. The idea is further developed into wearables using other technology, such as electrical stimulation. Some also explore translating vision into audio. When you look at these prototypes, you see a common thing, that is the glasses. Cameras are typically put on the eye level to substitute regular vision. These are of course very helpful, and the most important thing is that they can help recognizing and avoiding obstacles for better navigation. But when you look at the beginning, in the videos that I show you, these people are using their hands to do something. It is not easy to use such device to look at small parts or in tight spaces. If they are already using their hands to grasp something, why not enable them to use their hands to see? In this paper, we propose seeing from the hand's perspective that allows the hands to see the object right before grasping. We call this seeing with the hands. This is a research co-led by myself, Jin Kim, Shanyu Liu, along with Pedro Lopez from the University of Chicago. Now, Jin is here wearing our device on his hand, which has a camera on the wrist, an electrotactile display on the back of the hand. Electrotactile is a technology that can be used to generate tactile sensations. By passing a tiny current through two electrodes, you will feel a slight sense of touch on the skin. And by having an array and switching these electrodes quickly, you can feel a tactile pattern. Let's see this in action. Without vision, Jing wants to use this boiling kettle safely. Scan around this kettle, and the camera image is translated into tactile patterns on his hand. So he can recognize, oh, this is the handle, and go ahead to grasp. And pour over until the cup noodles. We use this custom device with 30 electrodes on flexible printed circuits. These are switched through multiplexers with a single-source electrotactile stimulator. Camera images are processed through a computer vision pipeline, including edge and contour detection, and eventually determining which electrodes to stimulate on the skin. Seeing with the hands offers a unique way of seeing, and we wonder how this compared to a more traditional way of sensory substitution. That is by putting the camera on the head and feeling it on the forehead. We wonder how participants would do things differently, and would they even know how to use it without extensive training. Along with our leading blind author, we designed a series of daily tasks aiming to cover different manual interactions, such as those require fine shape discrimination like grasping the handle or hand-eye coordination tasks like closing the lid. But these seem easy. Without vision, they are all super challenging. We recorded blind and low vision, or also sighted participants, and all were blindfolded in the study. In a task that requires a participant to find a notebook in one of the clutter boxes without touching other round objects, when using the eye device, we observed that it is more physical demanding. Remember, they're all blindfolded, and all they relied on was a tactile sensation on their forehead. When they used a hand device, it was more ergonomic to find objects. In another task where we asked the participants to close the lid of the bottle, we found that with the eye device, some people are having difficulty aiming the lid because the hand will occlude the bottle, resulting in overshooting. When using the hand device, it allowed a smoother pursuit of the bottle through the hand's first-person view. We listed other findings in the paper. As for the quantitative measurements, we asked the participants to raise their cognitive loads and physical loads for these tasks. We found that overall, the hand device was rated with lower physical loads, since one needs less crouching and the hands felt natural to move around quickly. We also found that blind and low vision participants rated lower physical loads when using the two devices. We thought participants can use both devices with comparable performance, and this is great. Here we're not proposing overthrowing the eye device entirely, but instead we would like to know further if participants can use both devices in synergy. So in the phase 2 of this study, we allowed participants to freely choose between the two devices. They can switch to the eye or the hand devices or use both. The task was to find an experimenter standing in a random location with their hand extended. The participants were asked to shake their hands without touching any other body parts, in which the trial will restart. And this is a short clip showing how the participants relying entirely on tactile information to complete the task. We recorded the timelines of the usage for both devices. We found that participants use different strategies. Some like to switch back and forth with hand and the eye device. Some like to use the eye device first and then switch to the hand device. We see sometimes they use the two devices at the same time when switching. There are other participants who prefer using both devices at all times, saying that they like the confirmation from both devices. Overall, the majority of participants mentioned that they use the eye device for an overview, that is, to find a person in a room, and use the hand device to look for the extended hand. This is quite interesting because we don't have an eye on the hand, but the participants found that this is intuitive to use. And we showed that this is really beneficial to have both devices in our study. We collected ideas from our participants on the application that envision to use these devices, such as cooking, retrieving objects on the floor, or reaching into a fridge to find objects. Or envisioning using two devices together when walking. Here, Jane used the eye device to feel the road ahead and used the hand device to find the handrail so that he can walk down the stairs safely. We believe our work opens up a wide space to explore. What if we can use both hands? Can we be more efficient in finding an object or in other tasks? What about seeing with other perspectives, such as with the feet? Keigo Ushiyama and Pedro Lopez in our lab as explorers feeling electrotactile on the feet. Can we use a camera, say to capture staircase or other things on the ground? Sensory substitution has drawn most attention from the field of neuroscience and cognitive science, not as much in human-computer interaction. We think that this is inherently about how humans interact with computers, and there are a lot left to explore, including the design of user experiences. And we hope that our work can inspire more work on sensory substitution. Thank you.